All right, so this next problem is asking us to do the same thing, find these lengths, find these segments. And we notice that we have a right triangle, and it also has an altitude. It goes from an angle and makes a right angle, so that's an altitude. And we want to find A, B, and H. And I notice that with my altitude, I want to find the two pieces. So an altitude is a mean, and when the altitude is the mean, we need the two pieces. Well, I can already set up my formula then. My geometric mean formula would say the mean over one piece equals the second piece over the mean. And I already had that written out because I tried to record this already, and you're going to see my mistake in a second. Well, h is the mean, that's the altitude, it's the mean, so it repeats. And then we're just looking for the two pieces, 40 and 5. Right? Well, when we cross multiply, we get h squared equals, well, my mistake was I added 40 and 5. But actually it should be 200. 40 times 5. And then we need to square root those values so that we can find h. Well, it's not 3 square roots of 5. I know that the square root of 200 is square root of 100 times square root of 2. Well, 100 is a perfect square, and that's just 10 times square root of 2. So h equals 10 square roots of 2. Well, that's good news. Now we can move on. Let's do A next. A is a leg. When the leg is the mean, then we need the hypotenuse. Well, the hypotenuse is this full or whole section right here. It's just 40 plus 5. That's 45. And the piece closest to the leg. Here's our leg A. The piece closest to it is 5. So we can set up our geometric mean. A over something equals something over A. Well, the hypotenuse is 45, and the piece closest to it is 5. We get A squared equals 5 times 45, which is 225. We need to square root it to find A. I know that 225 is actually a perfect square. It's square root of 15 times square root of 15. So A equals 15. All right, and last but not least, we need to solve for B. B is a leg, and legs are geometric means. Even before you did anything else, you could start your geometric mean formula. B over something equals something over B. Well, B is a leg, so we need the hypotenuse, which is 45, and the piece closest to the leg. That's 40. 40 times 45, that's an intimidating number. 40 times 45, 1800. B squared equals 1800. Square root that. And I may not know a lot of perfect squares or the largest perfect square that goes into 1800, but I know one of them. I know the square root of 100 goes into it, and that's times the square root of 18. Well, now that I see 18 there, I recognize that 18 is just 9 times 2. So square root of 100 times 9 times square root of 9 times square root of 2. Well, square root of 100 is 10. Square root of 9 is 3. And square root of 2 isn't perfect. But we love them anyway. 10 times 3 is 30 times the square root of 2. Now if we look at this last problem on the last sheet of the packet. They ask us to find the value of x in the example below. Would we use 4 over x equals x over 14, or 4 over x equals x over 18? Well, we notice that we have our altitude, it makes a right angle, and x is a leg. Well, for a leg, we need the hypotenuse, which is 18, and the piece closest to it. All right, well, let's set up our geometric mean formula. Hypotenuse and the piece closest to it. And some of you can already tell that this is actually that 18, probably, as the. So